Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. To be born as a human being in this world is a great gift of God. To be born as a Vaishnavite is a great boon to attain salvation. What is Vaishnavism? Vaishnavism has a philosophy and religion of its own. Vaishnavism philosophy is based on Upanishads and Upanishads teachings, which are very well acknowledged by the Vedic and Vaishnavite scholars. As a religion, Vaishnavites, all religious rituals roots into the Tantra. All its religious rituals, therefore, is of agamic or tantric in character. Philosophy is Upanishad's teachings. Religion is based on Tantra and Agama. In Agama, idol worship, Tiruvaradhanam, all the Kainkariam services to God, also in temples. And when it's come to tantric rituals, it includes right from the birth to the death. You have holy thread, Yajnobhavidam, marriage, all these rituals, even the Simandam, all rituals, they are all based on Tantric, Tarpanadi for the ancestors, everybody. So you have Vaishnavite philosophy and religion, they are two, both are combined. One is philosophy and the other one is Tantric. And besides that, Vaishnavism, it regards Vishnu as the supreme being, with Sri Lakshmi in close association with him. Ramanuja goes to Kanchi Perumal, and Kanchi Perumal tells Ramanuja, with Lakshmi I am supreme. My conviction is difference or duality. Surrendering oneself, Saranahati, into the hands of the preceptor, that's me, is the most secure way to attain salvation, Mukti. The Vaishnavite, every Vaishnavite goal is to attain Mukti. Once if he surrenders himself to me and lives the life of according to the Vaishnavite philosophy of Upanishads and Upanishads teachings, and follows all the rituals as per the Tantric and Agama, he will get salvation. For such a Vaishnavite, at the time of death, even he doesn't remember me. Though I have told in Gita that one has to remember at the time of death Sriman Narayana. Here, as a Vaishnavite, when he has surrendered and living a life of a Vaishnavite, at the time of death, if he doesn't remember me, it's okay. Still, I can give him, it's not necessary, I can give him salvation. Kanchi Perumal tells Ramanuja, Mahapurna Periyanambi is the Guru whose blessings has to be sought. These are the words in which Kanchi Perumal directs Ramanuja to acceptance of a mission when at a critical moment he vacillated, harassed by a doubt whether he was equal to the burden of the propagation of the preachings of Vaishnavism. The fundamental idea of Vaishnavism is contained in one pasura of Tirumaishi Alvar. Tirumaishi Alvar tells Narayana, grace, let your grace be for me today. Let it come tomorrow. Let it wait and still longer and come sometime later. But your grace, I am sure, is mine. I am certain, O Narayana, I am not without you, nor you are without me. Nicely, beautifully condensed version of Vaishnavism. Indro, Nalaya, Inichiridum Nindraha Ninarul Palade, Nandraha Nanunai Andri Ilain Kandai Naranane, Ni Ennai Andri Ilai, Nanmohan Tiruvandadi. Beautifully explains. You see, your grace is very important for me. It may come today, tomorrow, or later, but I am sure I will get it. But be sure that I am not without you, but you are also not without me. It's a direct offspring of the school of Bhakti, Alvars and Acharyas, Nalayara Divya Prabandham. They are all great boons. The Vaishnavism is in all scriptures is mentioned, all the Vedas, even in Bhagavad Gita. Vaishnavism has a very important place. Bhagavad Gita of chapter 11 and in the fifth sloka, Vishnu says, I have assumed different forms in different period of time, avatars, and he describes the different modes of worship. In Kali Yuga, he has simplified. The God with such great qualities has simplified himself into Archavatara, agamic worship. And those people who devote themselves to him without subjecting themselves to the discipline of acquiring vairagya or jnana, if they have bhakti still, he says, I can give them salvation. Because for a bhakti, two important factors. One is vairagya and the other one is jnanam. Jnanam is spiritual knowledge about God, Paramatma, Jivatma, Sariram, and there are many things which needs to be learned. Vairagya is giving up all the worldly pleasures, desires of flesh, everything. But he says, bhakti, if in Kali Yuga, you will see these two things are very difficult for people to follow. They may not have the energy and life to have the jnanam, spiritual knowledge, or they cannot completely give up their desires. They cannot attain vairagya. So if bhakti is shown, I am there to help them with salvation if they are surrendering to me. He says in Bharata Varsha, all these avatars are over. Now in Dravida country, on the banks of Tamarabarani, the Vaigai, Kritamala, the Palaru, the Kaveri and the Mahanadi, which is flowing from the west to the Periyar, my disciples, Alvars will be there, later Acharyas will be there to propagate Vaishnavism for devotees to attain salvation. That's how you see in Tamarabarani, Nammalvar was born, Madaragavi Alvar was born, Vaigai, Periyalvar and Andal. In Palaru, Poigayalvar, Bhudattalvar, Peyalvar, Tirumashiyalvar. In Kaveri, Tondaradipudi Alvar, Tirupanalvar, Tirumangai and in that of Periyar, Kulasekar Alvar, Tiruvanjikalam. All these Alvars will be there to propagate. Vaishnavism is in this citation, he says the bhakti gets associated with the south, almost exclusively at Itver by Alvars. Where there is a connection of Agama and Tantra also will be followed. Padma Purana, to say regarding Srimad Bhagavatam, how actually it came into existence. Once Narada goes to Gokulam, Vrindavanam. On one occasion, he sees a young woman. She is in great distress. She has tread quite a lot, in the desert, and two elderly people are also there along with her. The moment she sees Narada, she makes an appeal to him to solve her distress condition. She says, see, I was born in Dravida country. Which is Dravida country? Tamil Nadu. And had an early growth in Karnataka. She goes to Karnataka and some growth and flourished to some extent in Maharashtra also. Then she proceeds to Gujarat with two sons. When life becomes difficult, they become old. As she moved further from there, it becomes almost impossible. And still she could somehow able to reach Vrindavan. The moment she touches the Vrindavan, she suddenly transformed into a youthful woman. And with two young sons, they have grown old now. So Narada pondered for a while and said, she says, what is this? Narada says, you are bhakti, devotion, and your two sons are vairagya and jnanam, spiritual knowledge and vairagya, negation of all the desire. That's vairagya. He says, this is Kali Yuga. Even if someone finds it difficult to acquire the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, or giving up the pleasures, negate the pleasures, bhakti, at least show bhakti alone. That's quite if, and from bhakti you can get jnanam. From bhakti you will get vairagya. And the moment you touch this earth of the Krishna as a child, you are becoming young. So bhakti becomes young. Dravida country was the land of birth of bhakti. flourished gradually, and then, though it flourished in Karnataka and Maharashtra, diminished when it went to the other places. So how even in Vaishnavas of here in South, olden days, they are of two sects. One is Alvars, set of Alvars. Alvars are saints, and Acharyas. Acharyas are teachers. Of course, teacher is not the right word because they are much more than the teacher, but yet they are Guru Parambarata. They form the Guru Param. They are 12 in numbers, Alvars and 12 in numbers. We all know. If these Alvars and Acharyas, they were propagating the Vaishnavism. Vaishnavism is Anadi. Nobody knows. But in Kali Yuga, as mentioned in Bhagavatam, these Alvars will be born in South. Poigai Alvar, Bhudat Alvar, Pei Alvar, Tirupan Alvar, Thirumaisai Alvar, Tondaradipudi Alvar, Kulasegar Alvar, all the Alvars, Peri Alvar, Andal, Tirumangai Alvar. Among this, Nammalvar stands out. The exception of Nammalvar comes into a satisfaction explanation as is the only among the Alvars who figures in the succession of the religious preceptor proceeding from one own's particular guru right up to Vishnu. That is why he is, because it is mentioned, எதற்குரிய மறைகளை ஆயிரமின் தமிழால் செய்குலகில் வரும் சடகோபனை சிந்தையுள்ளே செய்துலகில் வரும் சடகோபனை சிந்தையுள்ளே பெயர்த்த திசையும் பெரியவர் சீருயர்க்கெல்லாம் உய்தவர்க்குள்ளும் ராமானுஜன் எந்தன் உறுதுணையே உருவெரும் செல்வமும் தந்தையும் தாயும் குருவும் வெறிதரு பூமகள் நாதனும் மாறன் விளங்கிய சீர் நெறிதரும் செந்தமிழ் ஆரணம் என்றேந்தி நீர்நிலத்தோர் அரிதரன் என்ற ராமானுஜர் எனக் காரமுதே Ramanuja. So Ramanuja Nutandari, it is said that Nammalvar, because he is actually at the top level, though all the Alvars are there, he is the chief guru of them all, because he actually, all of us get salvation. Finally, Nammalvar gives it to Sri Lakshmi and Narayana. And then comes the Acharyas, the teachers. என்னுயிர் தந்தளித்தவரை சரணம் புக்கி ஆன் அடையவே எவர் குருகடை வணங்கி பின்னருளால் பெரும்பூதூர் வந்தவள்ளல் பெரிய நம்பி ஆளவந்தார் மனக்கால் நம்பி நன்னரியை அவர் குறைத்த உய்ய கொண்டா நாதமுனிகள் சடகோப்பன் சேனநாதன் இன்னமுத் திருமகளின்றி முன்னிட்ட எம்பெருமான் திருவடிகளை அடைகின்றேன். The succession of gurus starts with Manavana Mamunigal in Vaishnava Sampradayam of Anacharya Sampradayam, and Vedanta Desika in Vadagalai Sampradayam, and then the succession pass on to Ramanuja. It begins with Ramanuja from Manavala Mamunigal, and then comes to the principal preceptor of Periyanambi, and then preceptor of Alavandar, then his preceptor of Manakal Nambi, and then his Acharyan of Uyakondar, and then to Nadamunigal, and then to Sadagopan, who is a Vishwakshena, Senanathan, and then to Mahalakshmi, and then to Vishnu himself. It is in this, it is noticed as soon as the first Acharya, Manavala Mamunigal, from Manavala Mamunigal, it reaches the first Acharya, and then it passes on to only one Alvar, who is Nammalvar, Sadagopan. And then it passes on from the earth, from the Bhuloka, to the Sri Vaikundam, to Lakshmi, and then to Sriman Narayana. This arrangement is what exactly makes Nammalvar as unique from the group of Alvars in the arrangement of Tiruvaranga Tamudarar of Srirangam, who has sung this Ramanuja Nutandari. That's Vaishnavism. This is the first of its series on Sri Vaishnavism.